Dave, we're good to go.
Gonna call to order the regular council meeting of Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 to order. Was moved by Councilor Bouchard, second by Councilor Allen. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of June 10th, 2025 be approved as printed. All those in favor? Move right to land acknowledgement. Township of Black River Masson acknowledges the Apatipi and Sinapec Nation traditional territory. We live, play, and work here together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. A reminder to all in attendance that council meetings are recorded and made available to the public on the township website for review. Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none. It was moved by Councilor Gaddery, second by Councilor Campbell. Be it resolved that the minutes of the May 27th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved as printed. All those in favor? Moved by Councilor Allen, second by Councilor Campbell. Be it resolved that council hereby receives the minutes of the following committee meetings as presented. BRM Events Committee, formerly Ad Hoc Recreation Committee, March 10th, 2025. Senior Advisory Committee, February 4th, 2025.
No, that's not it.
Oh,
Yeah,
February 4th, 2022,
they were never adopted.
and March 18th, 2025. So we're adopting 3-year-old council meeting.
I was switched.
All those in favor? There. Backdate everybody's pay. Move on to new business. Moved by Councilor Gaddery, seconded by Councilor Allen. Be it resolved that council hereby recognizes the month of June 2025 as Seniors Month. All those in favor? Moved by Councilor Campbell, seconded by Councilor Bouchard. Whereas the Ontario government has enacted OREG 343-22, establishing mandatory certification requirements for firefighters under the Fire Protection and Prevention Act 1997. And whereas council for the Township of Black River Masson acknowledges the importance of standardized firefighter training and safety. And whereas these mandatory certification requirements pose significant challenges for small, rural, and northern municipalities due to the limited financial and training resources, geographic barriers, and reliance on volunteer fire departments. And whereas the implementation of these requirements without additional flexibility or support may negatively impact the township's ability to recruit and retain volunteer firefighters and provide adequate fire protection to its residents. Now therefore be resolved that council for the corporation of the Township of Black River Masson formally opposes the mandatory firefighter certification requirements as currently outlined in OREG 343-22. And further, that this resolution be forwarded to the Solicitor General, Premier of Ontario, MPP John Vantoff, the Fire Marshal, AMO, FNOM, and all Ontario municipalities. All those in favor? Moving on to, let's see. Moved by Councilor Allen, seconded by Councilor McCutcheon. Whereas the BRM Events Committee has reviewed and updated its terms of reference to better reflect the committee's purpose, structure, and responsibilities. And whereas the BRM Events Committee at its meeting held May 22nd, 2025, passed resolution number 2025-9 BEC, recommending that the updated terms of reference be forwarded to council for formal adoption. Now, therefore, be it resolved that council approves and formally adopts the updated terms of reference for the BRM Events Committee as recommended. Questions, comments? Councilor Gaddery.
Yeah, I think the letter, there's a mistake because it's got the former members of the other committee on it.
Is that in the terms of reference?
Yeah, and there's a letter that accompanies that.
Find it.
The first document.
Oh, do you have a letter?
Yeah, it's from resolution.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's from Louis.
through the mayor. So we pulled our resolution from iCompass. We're still having some issues with updating names on certain
Okay.
resolutions. That's the previous committee's members. We'll correct that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't put through that way.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor McCutcheon, seconded by Councilor Campbell, be it resolved that council receive report T 2025-20 municipal policy revision report as information. And that council direct staff to revise the draft policy based on feedback and bring it forward for consideration and adoption at a future council meeting. Do we have any questions or comments on that? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Gadry. Be resolved that council approve a donation of blank amount to the Masson and District Agricultural Society for Fall Fair, and that council approve a donation of blank amount to Ducks Unlimited for their annual dinner and auction. On open the floor for comments, direction. Councillor Gadry.
Have we given to both these organizations in the past? And if yes, how much?
1,500 to each. That's what they're requesting. So as for what
Have
we
we
did
given them
previously,
donations before?
I don't think ducks we have. And the fall fair in this capacity, I don't think that I know of.
nope. Neither to both.
No.
Okay. So right now we have 4,000 remaining in our grants organization account. And they're asking for $1,500 each. Councilor Campbell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is Ducks asking for 1,500? Cause when you go into their sponsorship letter, some of these, when you click into them, they bring you to a different letter. But when you go into the sponsorship letter, it says, gold member is 1,000 plus.
I'll refer to Mr. Lee, because I know that came through as 1,500 on our agenda. But I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere there that they had requested to find John. Oh, there we go. Larson, someone has the answer.
Ducks is asking between 300 to the 1,000, depending on what sponsorship. There's the gold, silver, or bronze.
Okay. I thought somewhere in one of the letters it said 1,500, so.
I think it was
Councilor Campbell?
just a headline. I think, Mr. Mayor. We've been sponsoring the beer fest. We've been giving them 1,000. We sponsored the Christian concert. We gave them 1,000. Why don't we give both of these events 1,000 as well?
Okay. Any other comments? Councillor Bouchard?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I agree. That way that would make it fair to everybody. We didn't favor anybody and stuff. It's just. If it's 1,000, it's 1,000 each.
Okay. Councillor Allen?
Is there a reason we've never donated to the fall fair prior to this? Is it because they've never asked for it? Because it has been an ongoing thing for many years, so I'm just curious as to, is this the first time they've ever applied for it?
I believe so. I was actually speaking to a couple of committee members 2 weekends ago. We were up at the beer fest in Timmins. And they brought that up. That's why I'm saying I don't think they've ever asked for a donation in the past. Costs are more, they want to see more happen, so this is why they're coming forward with a donation request.
Councillor Allen?
Just because I know that the Ag Society likes to like be separate from the township for activities and stuff that we do. So I'm just curious as to why they're coming to us now when usually they do things a little bit separately from even committees of council and stuff like that.
Councilor Bouchard?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Well, there was a request for donation for them to cover on their insurance, and we denied that.
Mhm.
And if you read in the thing, and see that the insurance has gone up considerably and stuff, so that's probably to help them maybe pay the extra insurance.
Mr. Jiguer?
Thank you, through you, Ms. Mary. I believe the counselor here is right on point. It's basically to offset the cost of the insurance so that there could be a parade for the fall.
So they asked us for money to cover the insurance. We denied it? No? That, I'm just trying to get a clear
Yeah.
picture of what's going on.
Okay, I'll hand over to Mr. Jiguer real quickly.
So the first request is they wanted to use our insurance
Yeah,
while they had their fall fair permit.
okay,
When Ms. Larson checked with her current insurance provider, that's not doable.
okay,
Unless we are actually the ones running it.
Yep.
That's not doable. So when we send them back to correspondence saying we'd like to help you out, but our insurance provider is saying unfortunately, we can't do it this way. Then the application came in to have a monetary donation so that they could go to get their own insurance to cover them for.
oh, okay.
Councilor Guthrie?
I think both of those events are very good for our community, and I think we should encourage them. It's just my opinion.
Any idea of financial amount?
I think 1,000 each sounds reasonable, given that's what we gave to other organizations.
Yep. Councilor McCutcheon?
Think, like, as Ms. Gadri said, it's very, like, these events help the community, bring people in. And we've kind of not purposely, but we kind of set the bar at $1,000. So I think 1,000 each would.
What seems a consensus is 1,000 on the table. If everybody's okay with that, we can reread the resolution. Mr. Councilor Bouchard, you okay with?
Yes,
that one?
yes.
Be it resolved that council approve a donation of $1,000 to Masson and District Agricultural Society for the Fall Fair, and that council approve a donation of $1,000 to Ducks Unlimited for their annual dinner and auction. All those in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that council receive report number DR 2025-006 community yard sale proposal as information, and that council approve the Recreation Department's request to hold a community yard sale at the Masson Arena on June 28th to 29th, 2025. That all proceeds from the event be allocated to Recreation Department programming and events. Questions or comments? Councillor McCutcheon.
What was the report number again, Mr. Mayor? 2025-00.
6.
It says 005 on the year.
5 on the agenda.
This is 004 on the report, so.
So.
So the report is called Community Yard Sale Report.
There we go, we'll go.
Okay, we'll go with that. I'm sure we will correct the numbers as we approve it. Are there any questions on that report now that we have the Director of Recreation here? No questions? Oh, Councillor Allen.
Not a question, but a comment.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea because it is a very low cost. It gives everyone an opportunity to have a garage sale that might not have the opportunity to at their house because of the weather and things like that. So I think this is great, and the fact that Lisa came up with it or someone had suggested it to her, awesome, because it's a nice free event for people to come and be able to get rid of things, but also purchase things they may or may not need.
Well,
For the next cross.
Yeah. Having heard that, all those in favor? Carried. Brings us to G, which is a verbal update of the Phenom Conference from myself. I I attended Roma in January and Good Roads in, I believe, March. I went to Phenom last month. I think I mentioned before that Good Roads, I don't think drives it or lends itself to our town. We're too small for big. Phenom, I would say, would be the top conference so far. It had local networking, so I was networking with local mayors, local CAOs. I wasn't networking with individuals that didn't have the same problems we do. So it's nice to speak to the mayor of Sarnia, but they don't have the same problems we do. So I really felt that the networking was 100% better. And the issues that were discussed, not only between like our roundtables and the lunches, but also the presenters, were local, were things that we deal with. You know, we don't deal with crosswalks. We don't deal with airports. So a lot of the other conferences that I attended, I didn't feel it was necessary. This year was 100%. Everything that we talked about, every issue we have was all covered in this conference. As well as the vendors were local people that selling and trying to sell us stuff that we would use. Again, like we don't have traffic lights. We don't need to get brochures on traffic lights or stuff that we just never ever do. So I would say by far this was 100% the best conference that we could have been represented at. So that's my update on that. So moving forward, number 1 for Phenom. Moving forward to bylaws. Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor McCutcheon, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-38, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Blackfern, Masson be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 10th day of June 2025. All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Gaddery, second by Councillor Allen. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-29, being a bylaw to establish a municipal compliance procedure, be read a third and final time and passed this 10th day of June 2025. Questions or comments on that? Nope. All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Bouchard, seconded by Councillor Camso, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-030, being a bylaw to regulate and license businesses, be read a third and final time and passed this 10th day of June 2025. Questions or comments? Councillor Camso.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Number 75, garage automobile repairs. Under the operating criteria, number 1 is basically not valid. If we can just amend that and strike that one out.
What was the number again?
Number 75.
Okay, we're on 75. Whereabouts? Sentence number?
Number 1.
Okay,
The applicant shall provide the issuer of licenses at the time of application, a copy of the motor vehicle inspection station certificate issued in the name of the applicant. MVIS is no longer a program. It's now Drive On, and there's no certificate with Drive On. Everything's done online.
that's something, is that just something generic that we can change that? Okay. I'm sure there's gonna be quite a few of these as we go through because you're familiar with the automobile, but it might be logging ones that are gonna change, so. In speaking this afternoon and with staff, what this is doing is protecting us as a municipality, because as we regulate these businesses, one, it's gonna create revenue for our town, but 2, it's gonna help make the competition field level for any individual trying to come in and do business in our community, but it's also gonna protect us because if we get a business license for whatever the purpose is, and the individual isn't following the proper policies and procedures, we could be liable for it. So this is a huge undertaking by our staff and Mr. Lefebvre as well, is to ensure that everybody's protected. So commend you for the hard work. Any other questions, comments under this? Call for a vote. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor McCutcheon. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-31, being a bylaw to regulate building construction, be read a third and final time and passed this 10th day of June 2025. Questions or comments? Nope. And everybody has a copy of the building permit fees that was dated today. Everybody understands the three scenarios that were put together, because I know there was some concerns that are first and second reading. So you can see that although you look at examples 1, 2, and 3, the percentages may seem high, the dollar value is not. So if an individual is doing a $40,000 renovation, although it looks 21% looks like a lot of money, the dollar value is only $84. So we had asked, at the time, we had asked staff to review the cost to create permits. So we don't want to be in a position where we're
Costing us money.
costing us money every time we give a building permit. If it's costing us money, we're going backwards. So this here is gonna help our cause. Councillor Campbell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the examples that are shown is only the residential building. It's not showing for the commercial ones, which has gone up 50%. You went from $10 every 1,000 after to $15 every 1,000 after the initial fee. That's a pretty big jump.
Okay.
That's a 50% jump.
Okay, can I refer that question to Mr. Lefebvre, please?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. The increase on the commercial side is definitely something that was the consideration that we had to include, is the fact that so even through our partnership with the city of Timmins right now, they're in a position where they're having a hard time being able to do inspections and plans examination on their commercial activity, large buildings as well. So it's fairly reasonable to expect that the cost for that is going to be significantly greater, until such time as we've got somebody on staff that could potentially do that, which again, that would be probably a little while down the road. So if we're looking to recuperate our costs for commercial, what we had there definitely wouldn't cut it. And again, we're still keeping in line with other Northern Ontario municipalities. So, absolutely something that could be amended before the final passing if you so choose.
Well, I think we, in the previous meeting, or a couple of previous meetings, we had charged staff with make sure we're not losing money on building permits. So on one end, if we tell you as staff to make sure we're breaking even, which we should, but then we don't want to increase the value of a permit, we're defeating ourselves. And we have to understand that we also, in probably not in these costs, we're not realizing is it's the unknown staff cost. If it's a deck, you know that you've got, you know, an hour and you're done. But if it's a large commercial project, we'll have more staff time involved in that than we ever realized. So we don't want to be in a position where out the gate, we're building a big commercial project and we're already losing money. Because we have to ensure that we're covering our liability as well. Councillor Bouchard?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Is it possible to just do a quick calculation? Let's see for, you look at building permits and we look at commercial building or renovation, it's 150 for the first 1,000. And then plus 15 for each additional 1,000, right? So if we build $1 million building, how much would the building permit be?
15,000.
right?
15,000.
15,000. That's about in line what I paid for 2 million in ours. 15.
It'll be 15,000.
You got too many zeros.
Add too many, too many nines.
Oh, you're trying to add too many zeros.
Ballpark, you'd be looking at.
Okay.
She really didn't want to lose money. Mm.
1.5.
It's 15%.
That's not right, I know it's not right.
Or 1.5%.
1.5, yeah. Any other questions, comments on this report? No, call for a vote. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Moved by Councillor McCutcheon, second by Councillor Campbell, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-32, being a bylaw to enter a lease agreement with Mike Fellner and Tom Fellner, be read a first, second, and third time and passed its 10th day of June 2025. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Gadry. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-39, being a bylaw to authorize sale of land 711 Gleason Avenue, be read a first, second, and third time and passed its 10th day of June 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? I'm gonna slow down because we're gonna be done before 7 o'clock here.
Oh my.
Moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Bouchard. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-40, being a bylaw to authorize sale of land 433 Maryland Avenue, be read a first, second, and third time and passed its 10th day of June 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Allen. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-41, being a bylaw to authorize sale of land 516 7th Avenue, be read a first, second, and third time and passed its 10th day of June 2025. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Moved by Councillor McCutcheon. Seconded by Councillor Bouchard, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-42, being a bylaw to enter into Aqua Distribution and Collection OM agreement, be read a first, second, and third time and passed its 10th day of June 2025. Any questions or comments? Councillor Allen.
Is this just for our regular Aqua? Or is this for the person that's taking, yeah, okay.
Good.
Yep, only need part words.
Got the head nod.
Yep. Got what I needed.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor? We're gonna move on to question and answer. There were no questions. There are no answers.
There's no crowd.
There's nobody to ask questions.
Yeah, 6:59, so, gonna move on to adjournment, I guess. Moved by Councillor Allen,
Jays.
seconded by Councillor McCutcheon. Be it resolved that this regular council meeting is hereby adjourned at 6:59 PM. All those in favor?
Wow.
Okay, thank you, everybody.